Hey folks, this is Curtis Brown, your professor for HSEP 302. Just want to go over a couple of the things that I mentioned in the announcement post. First, want to discuss week 10 discussion question and also the last 2 weeks, which has been about response. And then go into the discussion about recovery, and then go over the first memo and then discuss the second executive memo assignment, which is due next Wednesday, April 4th by 6 p.m. And so just want to let you know that inside the assignments folder, you'll find the assignment for the second executive memo. I've also posted the grades in the grade folder as well. So check your grades on that. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm also going to post the matrix for how the grades were determined, and we'll discuss that here in a little bit as well. But I'll post that, and again, that will help guide you for this upcoming memo that's due next Wednesday. And again, we'll talk about that here in a second. But going back to week 10, the discussion board question related to a current event, or at least it was a current event at that time. In Austin, Texas, there was a bomber who was delivering packages that were bombs and would explode as people got close to it or touched it, using in what is really pretty much believed to use our mail delivery system through FedEx and other carriers. 2 people died. There were several injuries, and of course, it terrorized the city of Austin. People were very scared in terms of picking up packages. Folks at the mail facilities were fearful, of course. And so it provided a perfect example of looking at a complex response scenario. And so the discussion board question asks you to look at the readings, the textbook, as well as the National Response Framework developed by FEMA, and to identify the responsibilities of the mayor, of businesses, and of the citizens of Austin. And a lot of you all did a really good job. I saw the discussion back and forth in terms of you reflecting on your classmates. And I essentially wanted you to apply the reading to a real life incident. And so for the mayor has a lot of responsibilities. The police department reports to him in this case in Austin, and he's also essentially the spokesperson for the city. And so you have to remember that anytime there's an emergency occurs, people expect their leadership, their elected leadership, whether they voted for them or not, whether they're part of their party or not, to come forward and to demonstrate leadership, to ensure that everything is being done to protect life and bring things back to normal. And for the most part, what I saw, the mayor had done that. He was on TV a couple of times. He was talking about the actions that local law enforcement was doing in collaboration with the FBI and federal and ATF. And he was pretty much saying that the full weight of government is being used to stop these bombings, identify the perpetrator, and bring him to justice. And he also echoed the message that law enforcement had him give, which was telling people to report any suspicious activities, to be careful in terms of looking for people who might be suspicious, telling the business community, especially the mail carriers, to be careful and report suspicious activity. So, as a spokesperson for the city, and to demonstrate leadership, the political leadership is very essential in emergency management. The second group or entity I asked you to look at is businesses. What is the role of businesses? A lot of businesses in Austin, of course, like a lot of places, but in particular, the mail carriers is a business. FedEx is a business. Part of the way in which the bomber was found was through collaboration with the mailing services, such as FedEx, who reported suspicious activity. Businesses have been targets of attack before, and so and especially this industry, the mail industry, has always been a collaborative entity for law enforcement. People traffic drugs and all type of illicit material and things through the mail, and so law enforcement works very collaboratively with the mailing services. So, the message there, and a lot of y'all hit the nail on the head, is suspicious activities reporting, collaboration in terms of intel, and some of y'all even talked about bomb detection equipment that some of these entities use, which is a great idea. Finally, for the citizens, it's pretty clear there. Suspicious activities reporting, being careful when approaching a bomb. Now, again, no one realized the extent of this attack in terms of this individual desiring to place multiple bombs in different places. Clearly the first attack, had to be investigated to see the full extent of what it was. But clearly after the first one, then you had the second, then the third, you clearly had a situation that impacted the whole city. So the message had to get out quickly. It had to be clear. You had to use your explosive experts to provide easy to explain information to citizens on what they could do to protect themselves. And so each citizen had a responsibility there. One of the things I wanted to highlight as a part of this discussion board question is emergency management is a whole of community activity. Everyone has a part of responsibility. Government can't do it alone. You need the citizens, you need businesses, you need nonprofits, and so it's a collaborative effort. And so that discussion board question wrapped up the 2 weeks focused on response. And again, I hope you saw through the textbook reading as well as the National Response Framework, all the entities on the local, state, and federal level who has a role in emergency management, as well as nonprofits, citizens, and businesses. And so, especially the National Response Framework, what FEMA did there, and you'll see this a lot, FEMA usually frames and provides the doctrine for framing how all these entities collaborate. But what you saw in the National Response Framework is what the groups were, what their roles and responsibilities were, and at what level of threshold of emergency that they interact. And so, of course, we've learned about the Incident Command System, the National Incident Management System. This provides the framework and the language for communicating on how these different entities collaborate. Clearly, day to day, local law enforcement, local emergency management, fire handles those localized day to day issues. There's a saying, all emergencies are local. Where we get into all of the entities that you saw in the reading, the federal agencies, the nonprofit humanitarian agencies, is those large scale incidents. And we don't have to go back too far than to 2017 last year when we had 3 major hurricanes that devastated 3 areas of the country, and we needed the whole of government approach, all those different entities providing support, including the military and other important assets. So emergency management is continuous. All of these entities work collaboratively year round. Right now, it's the end of March. Everyone is focused and paying attention on this tornado season that we're moving into, and then hurricane season starts June 1st. And so, again, 2017 is over. We might have another active hurricane season this year. So all those entities are working together to plan and exercise on how to get ready for that. And again, the focus is on how to prepare for those large-scale incidents. Included in your readings was more discussion about the whole community approach, the difference between mitigation and preparedness. One thing that you should recognize is the importance for emergency planning for people who are disabled, people with access and functional needs. That is the term that is being used by FEMA and within the industry. So we can't just plan in terms of evacuations that everyone is able to walk out of the city. We have to plan